Oh, you. You're no hollow. Thank goodness.
I've been deviating from this path more recently, and will continue to do so in the future, but when I first made this channel, my goal was to debunk common myths in the FromSoft fandom. There's one particular Dark Souls myth that's been so prevalent for longer than I've been part of the fandom that most people seem to just fully accept it as fact.
As an undead loses their drive or their purpose or their goals, they begin to hollow. Much like many of those who face depression on a daily basis, they gradually lose themselves.
The process of hollowing is often described as losing or forgetting one's purpose, and eventually losing one's connection with their humanity altogether and going mad.
What turns an undead into a hollow? Is it the passing centuries in a never-ending life? The experience of dying hundreds of times? Or is it those things, coupled with a loss of hope?
No, it's not. But thank you, 𝗿𝗲𝗁, for once again misleading the fandom with your misunderstanding of Souls lore. I shouldn't say once again, that was probably the first time 𝗿𝗲𝗁 did that. It's an old video. But yeah, just like everything else that annoys me in the Dark Souls fandom, I do blame 𝗿𝗁𝗁 for popularizing this misconception. I should clarify before breaking all this down that I'm not saying that hollowing isn't or can't be seen as a metaphor for depression. I'm arguing about lore, how things literally work within the fictional Dark Souls multiverse. So I'm not saying you can't interpret hollowing as something symbolic of depression that you relate to or find some deeper meaning in. That's great, and I don't dislike those analyses. I just want to keep the meta-analyses of metaphor separate from lore analyses. So what is the hollowing lore? Well, it is explicitly explained in the games, and we will get into that, but first I want to point out how Dark Souls immediately disproves the hollowing as undead depression hypothesis at the very beginning of the first game. The first time we hear about hollowing is when literally the first NPC we meet in the trilogy tells us they're about to go hollow. And far from lacking direction or motivation, their one regret is that they won't be able to complete their quest if they go hollow, so they pass their mission on to us. And then they say they can die with hope in their heart.
Well, now you know. And I can die with hope in my heart.
This hopeful, optimistic state that they die in does nothing to prevent their hollowing, and if we return later, their hollow form will attack us. So our first encounter with hollowing is when a motivated person on a mission they're trying to accomplish dies with hope in their heart, and then goes hollow. Being motivated and hopeful with a specific goal doesn't sound much like the stagnant, listless depression that the fandom associates with hollowing. And we see this repeatedly with multiple characters. Laurentius, who shows no outward sign of depression, seems content to hang out at Firelink Shrine, until you show them a pyromancy that they're immediately eager to seek out. Then, in searching for 𝗿𝗏𝗁, hoping to learn this obscure pyromancy, Laurentius apparently dies in Lower Blighttown and goes hollow. Eagerly searching for a powerful witch to learn a legendary spell is hardly an indication of depression or aimlessness. And then there's 𝗿𝗏𝗁, whose whole story is about depression, and at one point the Sunbro literally gives up and loses the will to go on, but still never goes hollow. That questline ends with 𝗿𝗏𝗁 either being possessed by a sunlight maggot, or killing the god they used to worship and linking the first flame in a universe parallel to the one the player character inhabits. And why didn't this little SSRI-resistant ray of sunshine go hollow a long time ago if hollowing is caused by depression? The entire Nightmare Blunt rotation of the Souls game's welcome party should be starting out hollow, but the captain of the Crestfallen Knights over here doesn't go hollow until getting mad about the llama snake's bad breath and becoming determined to do something about it. The obvious implication being that the knight attacked the snake, got killed, and went hollow. I said earlier that the games explain how hollowing works, and I said we'd get into it. Well, here it is.
But remember, hold on to your souls. They're all that keep you from going hollow.
That's the most explicit statement we get, but there are several others that reinforce it.
Don't get yourself killed. Neither of us want to see you go hollow.
What is it? Have you? Oh no, don't worry. I've no intention of escape. It's safe here. I can't bear the thought of going hollow out there.
It's pretty clear. People go hollow because they lose their souls. There is a substance in Dark Souls called humanity that makes people human, and not having this substance means you go hollow. If you collect enough souls, you gain humanity. That implies that all souls contain trace amounts of humanity. So strictly speaking, the Firekeepers at the start of Dark Souls 2 are not entirely correct when they claim that holding onto your souls is all that keeps you from going hollow. You could also find humanity on its own, but since souls seem to contain humanity and losing your souls literally makes you start to hollow in all 3 games, we can clearly see what they're getting at. Dark Souls 2 takes the hollowing mechanic further, increasing the extent of your hollowing each time you die, and Dark Souls 3 has a whole other mechanic that's almost hidden, tied to a kind of secret ending, and all of this paints a clear picture that hollowing is not connected to mood or mindset. It's not about depression or giving up. It's just a very straightforward result of dying continuously. If you die repeatedly in Lothric, but you have nothing but sunshine and friendship in your heart, and you can't wait for your next bonfire resurrection because every life is better than the last, you're still gonna go hollow. And on the flip side, you can sit around at Firelink Shrine listening to Elliott Smith and reading Sylvia Plath literally forever, and you won't go hollow, so long as you don't follow Sylvia's example. I don't really have much else to say about this. It just always annoyed me that this is such a simple, straightforward bit of lore that the fandom built such a blatantly incorrect mythology around, despite the fact that we see people who are not depressed going hollow, while people who are depressed don't. And despite the fact that we're explicitly told what causes hollowing: the loss of souls. The moral of the story is, don't trust anything anyone tells you, especially if they have a YouTube channel.